Hey everyone, it's Lisa Davis from Lisa Davis Body Construction. I've done a lot of traveling, mostly with my husband when he goes for work because he's traveled all over the world. So sometimes I get to go with him, but I also travel sometimes myself. So I've been to a lot of hotel gyms. I've also been to a lot of places that don't have a gym. And even the ones that do have gyms, I can tell you, if you didn't already know, you can't count on their website to let you know exactly what they have. And if you have goals that you're trying to reach and you're trying to not fall behind on your fitness goals, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. You thought you knew what you were going to get, but you get there and they just don't have the equipment or the space that you need for your workouts. The type of workouts I do can be pretty easily modified, but I do need space. If I'm going to try to jump rope, I need the ceiling to not be too low. And I like to have kettlebells and weights and different things that I can do my intervals with. And by the way, if you are interested in seeing or trying any of my travel workouts, they're similar to my workouts that I do at home anyway, but I do have those on my channel. So that way you wouldn't have to think it through. If you get there and you're like, what is this? Maybe you could try one of my workouts that I have on my channel. I have a trip to Switzerland coming up. I'm trying to plan ahead a little bit. And since I've been to Europe many times, so I know how I'm going to feel and try to mitigate things like the jet lag, the feeling of, I don't need to work out today because I have goals I want to reach. I have 3 workouts plus a rest day while I'm in Switzerland. So I will be in Biel is the plan for the first 3 nights. And then I'll go to Zurich. And that's supposed to be a 5-star luxury hotel. I've been to 5-star luxury hotels before, and they actually have disappointed me greatly. So I expect to be disappointed, and the gym as well. Sometimes they've been amazing, and sometimes they are just so bad. So I'm going to show you the workouts I'm hoping for, just real quick. Again, I'll show you how they go if I can video during that time, and then I'll sum it up at the end. So here's the 3 workouts that I'm hoping to be able to do. Day 1, I'm hoping, well, each day, I'm hoping to work on my jump rope. So I like to use that to warm up for about 10 minutes. So that'll be the first thing. I have 3 sets of 4 exercises each. And each set I want to do 3 times before moving to the next. So after my 10 minutes of warm up, I'm hoping they have heavy enough weights and I can do deep squats. So right here I have 30-pound weights and I like to do between 8 and 12 on each set. Exercise 2, I'm hoping to do between 8 and 12 overhead presses. Obviously, if they don't have heavy enough weights for me, or if I have to go lighter for any reason, like someone else is using the ones I want, I will use lighter ones and do more reps. For exercise 3, I'm going to do an ab/core exercise. I always put a towel on top anyway, but if they don't have any mats that I think that I want to use, I will just fold up a towel. And I want to do 50 on each side Russian twists. And the last exercise, I'm hoping to have room to jump rope. If I don't have room to jump rope and if nobody's on a piece of equipment, maybe I'll run on the treadmill or something. But the hope is that the ceilings aren't too low and I can jump rope. And what I want to practice is 10 double unders, which those come pretty easy for me. But then I'm going to practice my Mamba, and that takes room. So I'm going to do that twice, just a real quick hit on the double unders, practice the Mamba. This one's going to be rear lunge front kick. I'm hoping they have free weights. I'm going to do these here. So rear lunge, front kick. I'm going to try for 10 on each leg. Exercise 2, again for upper body, tricep extension, optional knee lifts. I'm going to go between 16 and 24 of those. Exercise 3, I have 20 leg throws and something to hold on to. If they don't have any weights, maybe there's something else that I can anchor my body with. I'm going to face away from you because I have been known to show too much. It's how I roll, I guess. But I like leg throws in this position. So I have 20 of these. If I can't hold on to anything, I can do them this way. I just don't prefer it. Then I'll go to the jump rope Or again, if they don't have room to jump rope, I could do anything. I could do high knees, I could do jacks, but I'm working on these jump rope moves. And again, I'm going to do these twice every time. So I'm going to try 10 reverse double unders. So I might not get them all in a row here, but that's what I'm shooting for. I'll be doing 10 those, and then 10 each leg running mans twice. The last set has 5 exercises. My first one, I'm going to try to do our side, I call them side lying star hip dips. This is the position I'm going for. Although if you want to do this workout, you could go to your knee. You could do it on your knee or your foot and be on your elbow instead of your hand. But your hip really dips very small. So we're going to go with 10 on each side of those. After I do those, I'm going to try to go for upright rows. Usually, I have to go a little lighter on these, so I hope I have some ability to use different weights. So I'm hoping to use 25 pounds on these, or the equivalent in kilograms. But I want to do upright rows between 8 and 12 of those. I'm going to do a bench press, and a lot of times if the gym has weights, usually has a bench, but more often than not, where's my other 30? Someone is on the weight, and they've got the bench as well. So if there's a ball handy, I can still do bench presses on the ball. So I like this. Each round, remember we're doing it 3 times through, so I'm going to shoot for between 8 and 12. Maybe less on later rounds. If there is a ball, my next exercise is going to be crunches. I like to do them in combination with the leg throws. And I feel like it really works my abs. And I'm going to try for 50 each round. At the end of this round, I want to just practice the jump rope that I've already been practicing. So I'm going to try 10 double unders and my Mambas twice, and 10 reverse double unders and my running mans twice. Okay, day 2, totally different kind of exercise, and I'm hoping to use a kettlebell. I've got a 25-pound here, but I'll also show you how I could do this with a weight. So I'm going to do 25 swing jacks, and to me, this is a swing jack. From the side, looks like this. If they don't have a kettlebell, I'm going to try to use, this one's a 30-pounder. But if you get a nice grip, there's a couple ways you can hold it. You can either hold it from the end, and if you're sweaty like I get, you have to be super careful so it doesn't slip out of your hand. But the other way you could hold it that's a little surer of a grip, if my bracelet won't be in the way, is to hold it down on the handle with both hands. It's a little more awkward, but it's a more sure grip. Next, I'm going to do bend over rows, 10 on each side. And again, I can use the weight. So we want to get it nice and high. We don't want our arm out to the side, close to the body. Then I'm going to go with goblet squats. And I like to hold my kettlebell this way. There are so many ways to hold it. You can try holding them upside down, or you can hold it like this, but keep the weight close to your body. And I'm going to try for 10 goblet squats. So sit and stand. Control, fast on the upward motion, slow on the down. I had tricep extensions on the previous days, so you could leave this out if you want, because twice in a row, if you're really working hard, can be a little too much. 16 to 24. I'm going to go with 10 burpees. Hoping to go through this 3 times, so it would be 30 total, but that's my goal. And where the bench press had my elbows out, I'm going to do my push-up with my elbows close to my body. So it's a slightly different positioning, and those are your options. Next, I want to do 20 twist swings, and I'll show you with the kettlebell. And You still want to get this thrust up about chest height. If there's no kettlebell, it's harder because you have to do a hand switch. Definitely hold the handle. You can change like I am, or you can do all 10 on one side and then 10 on the other. All right, I call this one a bird feeder. It's really, I just like it because I remember my grandma had one of those little things you put on the edge of the glass, and it would tilt down and pretend it was drinking the water, and it reminds me of that. But come down and up, and it would be 10 on each leg. You can do this with a free weight as well. There are a few things to consider. If you hold it only in one hand, some people like to hold the opposite side. Some people like to hold it on the same side as the leg they're balancing on, or you could share it. I want to do some stuff for my hamstrings. We're going to be balancing on our heels, and the farther away your feet are from you, the harder this is going to be. But I like mine kind of midway. Then we're going to lift up and lower. So this is a hip bridge. You can make this harder by balancing only on one foot and lifting your other. If you followed any of my other travel videos, I use this. But if you do have a ball, I prefer the ball. So you're still going to have your feet flexed, lift your hips high, and then it's a curl and a lift. And I hope for between 16 to 24 of either version. If you're really getting strong here, you can do this with one leg as well. This next one's another one that if you do have the ball, I'll show a version that you can use. But we're trying to make a pike with the body. So you'll be here, pike, toe touch, pull the knee in, pike, toe touch, pull that knee in. But if you have a ball, pike, knee pull or tuck, pike, tuck. For the last muscle work exercise, I do a slalom over the kettlebell, pick it up, set it down. I have 20 total, 10 each. And then I'll jump rope for 5 minutes and repeat that 2 more times. That's my goal. Day 3 is the one that's supposed to be the 5-star hotel, or the workout 3. And I've told you in the intro, 5 stars have been the biggest disappointment for me. You can be pleasantly, greatly surprised or horribly disappointed. And I'm going with the disappointment because it's happened too many times. But because of that, I'm only hoping to maybe have a mat or towels. Almost every gym has towels. So I can count on that and my body weight. So exercise 1, I'm going to do spinal balance burpees. No push-up on this one. And I'm just trying to strengthen all through my core and back. So I'm going to come down, lift one foot and the opposite hand. 10 of those. Exercise 2, 20 speed skaters. So it's a cardio move without the jump rope. There's different ways to do it. Sometimes I go like this and go down low, but it's 20 total, 10 on each side. Exercise 3, 30 scissor abs. So I like to come here and just 1, 2, it's on each side, 3. Exercise 4, I'm going to use the jump rope if I have room and if I can. And I'm going to try to do crossovers, 20 of them. I know I have low expectations, but I'm going to try to do some pull-ups. I've always been weak at pull-ups. Pull-ups and push-ups. They've been really a problem for me. So I have some assist bands. I don't expect they would even have that. I have been to gyms where they have the assist with the step. That's been great. But rarely do they have any sort of assist band. And sometimes they're so high I can't reach them. I can't even jump up and there's no way to get up. Like I'll be like climbing on the thing trying to reach the handles. And I'm pretty tall. But I have had some so high I could not even jump to catch them. So if I can't do an assisted one, I can at least hang and see what I can do without assist. From here, I want to do 20 scissor lunges, and we'll want to go deep just using body weight. So I want to get down, 2, 3, all the way to 20, so 10 on each side. So since the day before, I have had a day of rest as far as doing push-ups and things, just 10 push-ups in a row, 8 to 10. The last thing I want to do is another kind of burpee to side opener. I want to try for 10 total, so 5 on each side per round. We're going to do this 3 times if possible. We'll come down to plank, open up, and then in and up. So that's 1. Then I'll go the other way. 2. We don't want to go so forcefully that we end up falling backward. So make sure that you just go straight up. Right there. Open. This is really good work, not just for your core, but think about your shoulder, bearing your body weight. And then I want to try to do 5 minutes of jump rope and repeat that until I've done it 3 times. So it should be something I can do even in a disappointing gym, or if I have to go outside, or even do this in my room. Probably can't do anything with a pull-up in my room, but yeah, I'm not any sort of bodybuilder. I don't have a competition coming up. Those aren't my goals. But I do have my goals, and I want to stick with them. One of my main goals is not to let myself be lazy, I guess. It's so easy to be slippery slope. Oh, I got out of the habit. I've seen it in the past where they're doing so well, and then they go on a trip, and they don't work out on their trip. They inevitably gain weight on their trip, and then lose the motivation. Why am I trying? Because they think they're starting all over. That's not true. That's not true. Even if you took your whole trip off, you're not starting all over. But the mental game is big. And if you're like me and you've had issues in the past, I don't want to go there. I want to keep on track. And I build in rest days, like I told you. But I don't want to fall to that lazy, oh, I don't have to do that today. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to listen to the excuses. That's my main motivation. So let's hope. I'll tell you what happens.
So first off, I went pretty early in the morning, and on the way down, I met someone in the elevator, and he said, you're going to hate this gym. You should just go run outside. But I thought it was actually pretty good. It had most of the stuff that I needed, at least for that first day and even the second day. I was concerned because I thought he had said that it was going to be too small, and I'll show it did get a little crowded, and it was hard. It really was not very big, but the ceilings were high enough that I was able to jump rope, as you can see here. So I was able to do my full warm up and a little bit of the actual workout before anyone came in. And the first person that came in just went on the treadmill for a little while before heading over to the weights. So I just kept doing what I was doing. I always re-rack my weights in between each use and kind of wipe down the handles because I try to stay out of the way because I don't want to be a weight hog. I think that's really annoying when there's only one rack of weights and one bench. This place actually had 2 benches, but only run one rack of weights. And I just think it's annoying when somebody kind of hogs it all and acts like that's their spot and it's a small gym. So I move over to the side. I stay out of the way as best I can and try to be very sharing. But that said, I did have kind of a funny thing happen. So you can see my little pile of stuff right here that I had with my jump ropes, my water bottle, things like that. But at one point, this little family came in, and there was a husband and a wife and a little kid, and they weren't in the way or anything, but the husband must have thought I was hogging all of the jump ropes from the gym or something because he came over and he got one of them. And I just kind of said, hey, you can use that. That's fine. I don't know if he could understand me, but I said, you can use it, but it's mine and I'm going to take it with me when I leave. And I was actually, I think he was really embarrassed, but I was happy because I thought, hey, he wanted to try jump rope, and I always carry 2 or 3 because I always want an extra one. So I had that, And I don't know, he jumped rope for a couple minutes and then just kind of set it aside and acted like, But I was really happy that he wanted to jump rope. So I would have been happy to share if he wanted to keep using it. I was able to do everything I wanted as far as equipment went, but I ran out of time to do all the stuff that I wanted to do on the first day. I don't know why I thought I would have time to do all of those sets. So I pushed the last set off to the second day and did that at the beginning. And I had time to actually do everything the second day that I already had planned for the second day, including that last set from the first day. So that was good. I was able to practice a few Mambas in my warm-up, but once people started coming, it was really tight quarters. And that is part of the thing too, that it makes it seem like I'm hogging all the space if I'm like whipping around. People get scared of the jump rope. So I didn't want to do the Mamba once there were people in there. It just, the ceiling was high enough. You see those little lights up there too? I had to align just right to not hit those with my jump rope. But side to side, the Mamba takes up more room, and I just didn't want to impose on people that way. So I did not practice the Mamba other than in my warm-up. So overall, day one was a really good success as far as my workout. My use of the kilograms versus pounds situation, plus the fact that I was at a lower elevation, I think made me, as usual, work harder. The cardio was fine, but I used way heavier weights. I use at home around 30-pound for each dumbbell for legs and overhead presses and chest presses and things like that. And I know that there's 2.2 pounds per kilogram, so I was using like 9 extra pounds per dumbbell, which turns out to be kind of a lot. And then I was like pretty sore the next day, and I thought, what the heck? I didn't think it was that much harder. Above, I'm just already showing day 2, which had a lot less activity in the gym. I went earlier, and I don't know if that made a difference or if it was just different guests that day, but I did have time to, after I warmed up, did all the stuff that I was going to do the day before, the last set, and then all the stuff I had for that day as well. They did not have any kettlebells. I was able to use the free weights as I showed with what I was hoping to do before I left. I used a free weight as a kettlebell, and it worked out fine, but it worked out. So there I go. It just so happened that it was the Women's World Cup soccer/football, they call it football over there, championships, the world championships, and they were being held in Bern. So there was a parade in Bern, and they just had a lot of activity about that because they were really excited, and that made it really fun. And we just loved the people there. They were just so nice and so helpful. A lot of people didn't speak any English, but they really wanted to help us. And we didn't speak any German or the dialect used there in Switzerland. But people just were so, so nice to us. And they wanted to help us, even though we couldn't understand each other very well. And we got to meet just new people. I love doing that. Okay, so my last workout was going to be in that 5-star hotel. And I don't have any footage because it turned out to be more disappointing than I even was expecting. When I got down there, so it was a really big hotel and it was quite busy. And when I got down to the gym, I went relatively early, and it was a small room, and everything was full. I mean, there were 4 or 5 treadmills, all full. There were 3 ellipticals, but they were weird ellipticals. I got on one of those because there was one available, but it was so strange. I didn't like the movement of it, and I didn't think other people did either. There was one bike, so I was able to get on the bike because there was no place to jump rope. There was a spot with the ceiling so low that I could barely stand up under it. No one could do anything except for lay on the floor and stretch. So you know, somebody was on the weights and that was a small area and they were completely taking up every single ounce of space. Not even anyone could share the space with her. And then there was a compound machine, but it was pushed into the corner so tightly that no one could really get to it. And I didn't even know if it was out of order. So I didn't dare video or anything, and I just rode that bike. And almost after 40 minutes or so, it was almost like some timer went off and almost everybody left, except for somebody was kind of stretching in that low ceiling area. So after about 40 minutes of the bike, I just went over and I did jump rope. So I didn't get to do any of the planned workout. Yes, I could have gone back to my room and done those things. Like I said, I had the opportunity, and I did have room in my room that I could have done that. But after 40 minutes on the bike, I just didn't. So anyway, then I went home. That was my last day there anyway. So I went home. I lifted weights the next day at home and everything was great. But yeah, if you like the 5-star hotel scene, you should let me know, because I have been so disappointed. And it's more often than not that it is a bust.
All right, I'm back home and I had an amazing trip, and I just want to sum up how this all went. First, I planned for 3 workouts and a rest day for while I was in Switzerland. The first 2 days worked out great because, as I showed, anything I needed could be either adapted for the workout or it was already there and it was exactly what I was planning on. I used weights instead of kettlebells. I did not think very hard about the amounts of weights in kilograms versus what I'm used to. And I've done that plenty of times, but all I thought was 2.2 pounds per kilogram, and I was off by quite a bit. But that's okay, it was only for the better. As usual, I got kind of a lot of attention drawn to me because when I was jump roping, when other people were around. But I also had the experience that I showed where I think other people were like, I want to do that. And that was good. I will share the links for the jump ropes that I always use. I almost always use dope ropes, but I had several different versions that I had brought with me. So I always bring extra ones, and I'll just share links for those below in case you're interested. Those are just the kind that I like. Any jump ropes will work if you're interested in doing that. It's an excellent form of cardio, and I like to put them in between the muscle work so that I'm able to build muscle as well as cardiovascular strength and endurance. So I hope that this kind of stuff can inspire you to do workouts even when you're traveling. A lot of times people don't know what to do if they don't have the stuff that they're used to available for them. So check out my channel. I have a lot of different workouts that can be modified. You can make them harder, you can make them easier, you can use adjustments when you're traveling, when you have limited equipment from what you're used to always using. So guys, I hope to see you again soon, and have a great day.